Hello, welcome to this week's horribly edited video. Today I am actually going to address another request that I've gotten quite a few times, and that is, how do you get bitten responsibly? In case you're wondering, no, I am not going to be showing any actual bites in this video. There are plenty of actual bite videos out on the interwebs, so if you want to look that up, there's material out there. However, I am going to show and voice over some video that I took from the last time I got bit, and I'll show you the girl who got me, just to kind of talk through what being bit, like what a responsible bite looks like. Now, why is this important? I own snakes. If you own snakes, as much as mine are very tractable and docile, they are still snakes. I still get bit here and there. It is not that often, which I'm very grateful for. However, especially when you care for bigger snakes and constrictors like reticulated pythons, even the dwarf and super dwarf ones, it's really important to both their safety and your own that you know what to expect and how to respond responsibly when they do get you. I always look mildly harassed when grad school kicks back in. Okay, so I am having you all do some snake chores with me because I am changing water. Oh my gosh. These little stopper guys, by the way, really great to secure of a lock sometimes for enclosures, but they're a really nice, affordable option for doors, sliding glass doors like this, and they work really well. Okay, now that I finally get this door unlocked, this is Tyr. He is a very friendly boy. He's also very food motivated. So the first thing about responsibly getting bit is to not get bit in the first place. Hi, buddy. Can I get your water? Thank you, sir. Do you want to sniff it? Good job. I will be the first to admit, that's the retic tree. So we're gonna do a video on how we make these, by the way, just for all of you who have been really curious about how that works. This is the tree. It's really simple. But anyway, back to the point of this video. Forgot what I was gonna say. Oh my God. Okay, my brain is back. What I was going to say is I am the first to admit that I do not like getting bit. I work with my animals a lot. Mainly, the primary reason is because I love observing their behaviors and learning a little bit more about them and just noticing how their behaviors shift and change in response to me when I do spend a lot of time with them. And part of that is their being able to differentiate between me and food or me and danger. And essentially what that results in is an animal that is able to differentiate pretty darn quick whether I am food or not. So he got fed on Sunday. I don't really use the hook with him. He's a pretty tractable animal, but so that's thing number one about getting responsibly bit. Retics are fast. They move their faces really fast. Sometimes it's because they're in food mode. He is in curious if I have food mode, but he knows I am not food. So when he moves his face really quickly like that, when I touched him, I don't move my hand. I don't jerk back. I don't react. Instead, I know what to expect from him and know that a bite could happen and acknowledge that and accept the fact that if he bites me, I don't want to flinch. Now, not flinching is one of the hardest things to master when you're working with getting bit responsibly, because that flinch back when something is like, you think something's going to bite you, or when you touch a hot surface with your fingers, it's a reflex response. So it gets processed through your spinal cord. It doesn't even go all the way up to your brain in our noggin. It's literally just a survival reaction. So your body's trying to protect itself from something that is potentially harmful, which is nice because we don't want to sit there with our hands on a really hot pan for, even 3 seconds while our brain processes. I don't technically know how long it takes for our brain to process something like that, but I do know that the reflex response is so much faster because it has shorter neural pathways. it takes a lot of intentional mindset to not flinch or pull back when a bite happens. This is why it's important. Hi, Mean. What you doing? Hi, do you think I'm food? Look at your face. Do you want to sniff the phone? Hi, come on, good girl. Do you realize I'm not food? Good girl. All right, so the primary reason to not flinch is, one, I don't want to make their lives more stressful. When a bite happens, it is stressful for the animal, even though they're the ones inflicting the bite. But if they're doing a defensive bite, one, they are stressed. So if you flinch back or pull back in a way that startles them even more, it just kind of rabbit holes into them being stressed out. If they mistake you for food, that can also be a little bit stressful for them because they're now in food mode, but then they realize that you are not a thing that they can eat, and that just kind of spirals again, where they're stressed out because they're in food mode, but they know that you're not food, so it just makes them all sorts of confused. Oh, honey pot, you gonna try and strike? No? So this hand over the top of their head, it kind of is counterintuitive because oftentimes I've seen and actually practice this myself where you go from underneath the animal as opposed to, I'm trying to do two things at once, as opposed to over it. So going over seems to help turn them off of any food mode and give them a little bit more space to explore. She is one of our more shy babies. So she's a little bit more on edge. Hi, honey pie. But she still hasn't struck, which is good. So I'm working with her behavior in response to her behavior rather than like I'm not going to try and instigate her into biting me because that's not fair to her. Hi, sweetheart. You're being curious though. Look at you. Yeah, very cautious, but still curious. I can try and show you this with Starburst. I don't know that she's gonna bite, but the other thing that's really key here, if you know an animal is about to strike, offering them a meatier part of your body, like your forearm or even your upper arm, is great. I will actually make a fist here. So that way my fingies are not exposed, and if they do happen to bite my hand, there's less of a chance of them getting and wrapping around fingers, because that can be a lot more problematic if they get like a knuckle and wrap your fingers. Not at this size. Yeah, you're tiny. Hi. You're also very sweet. All right, so little baby retics, who freaking cares? What's the big deal if they bite you, whether it's defensive or food bite? Well, let's take it up a notch and talk about what happens when they get a little bit bigger, which retics will get a little bit bigger. A little bit means a lot, by the way. All right, this is an Andari. I have not opened her house since I fed her on Sunday. She is on paper. Don't come for me. She has an eye thing. She's on a medical situation kind of setup. So, are you gonna even come out? This is turning out to be a horrible example. Hi, sweetheart. Can I have this? Oh my gosh, she's getting so big. All right. Can you let go? I need to clean you. All right. So Centauri is, aside from smelly, she is just under 7 feet at this point. She's a big girl. Come here, you need to come out because your house is stinky. Come here. She has tagged me before. Hi, honey pie. Oh, okay, we're climbing right up. Hello. Okay, so she is good. You can kind of see her eye. If you want a full update on that eye, I have all of the medical videos on our Patreon. So you can go check that out if you want some medical information. But back to, I always go on tangents. It wouldn't be a horribly edited video if I did not. Okay, so she is out. She is not in food mode. she is simply climbing on me. So she's squeezing my arm, which is, you know, she's strong. She's almost a 7-foot snake. She's going to probably get around Stella's size, around 12 feet long. So knowing her behavior and growing up with her, essentially I've had her since she was a tiny little bean, it actually makes it way easier. And it's not just me saying this, I've actually talked to several people. It makes working them through defensive or food mode, or if they actually bite you, just so much easier when you've grown up together, because you are familiar with that animal, you remember them as a tiny little noodle, and for whatever reason, our brains make that association of, okay, I know this animal, I know how to work them through this, it's not a big deal. Jeez, oh, she's getting so big. All right, let me clean her and we'll hop back to it. In case you're curious, this little dude is the one who has bit me the most out of all of my snakes. Hi, bud. I don't take it personally. He's just a goober. All right, Aries is a horrible example. He ate on Sunday as well, but he has struck a couple of times, but he's never actually bit. And he is a very mild retic when it comes to food mode. Huh, bud? Yeah, he's a chill dude. You're a horrible example of getting bit by a snake. Look at him, he's just sniffing my hand. This is him sniffing, by the way. This is snake sniffs. He's not nervous. He's just smelling because I was working with Centauri. Huh, and you're in Archie breeding mode. It's that time of year, huh? He smells the ladies. He's like, ooh, they smell good. All right, let me show you all. I don't know if you can see it, but Stella also got fed on Sunday. Hi, honey pie. This is her stocking. So she is hoping that I have food. I'm zoomed in on her right now. I'm not striking distance, but this is a behavior that I keep a really close eye on because she is 12 feet. She is one snake I take some extra precautions about not getting bit, especially a food bite, because she's strong, she's big. Could I manage it? Yes, but it's still something I would rather not manage if I can prevent it. Hi, sweetheart. So other things to keep an eye out for is, especially if I've just fed them, she actually still has some fuzz right there from her last meal. So she might still smell a little bit of residual feeder smell. Hi, sweetheart. But I do find that talking to them and giving them space to think helps. She's still in stalking mode though. So, hi. Yeah, you have fresh water. You thinking about it? Not sure. So knowing your animal's behavior is first and foremost the thing that is going to help you not get bit the most. She's very sweet. She is still a snake. She could still bite, and I would not blame her. It would be my fault. All right, we're gonna kick it up one more notch. As big as Stella is, she is one of the less likely animals to bite because she does have a less exuberant food mode, but we do have one girl who has a very insane food drive. So let's see what she does when I open her enclosure for the first time after feeding her. In case you didn't guess it, it is April O'Neil. She is underneath that log. Hi, honey pie. So I will usually try and wake her up. Hi, where's your face? There it is, there's her nose. Hi, sweetheart. So notice her pupils are a little more dilated. So that often is an indication that they are in food mode, especially if they are dilated when they're underneath their lights. She is also on paper. She needs to be cleaned. As you can see, she just peed. So I do need to take her out. Let's see what happens when I open the door. All right. Now, I do place my hand on this side of the plexiglass, so that way when I open it, I am not in striking range. Hi, sweetie. You need to come out. You need to come out so I can clean you and probably give you a bath. You stanky. All right, she has tucked back underneath her cork bark, so I need to actually go fetch her out. This is one of the instances I will use a hook, or at least have a hook on me, just to ensure my safety and hers. Hi, sweetie. Oh, I'm trying to hang on to that with one hand. Check that grip. Okay, so she is digesting. She got a very, not a huge meal, but a big enough meal. So rather than just reaching in and grabbing her, she actually does really well for the most part. Just, do you notice what that is? So you'll see her move away. That's what I'm looking for, okay? Now, generally, hi sweetie, I know. Now she is digesting, so I'm gonna actually use both hands, but I have her. I'm gonna lift her out and place her on the little shelves. Okay, so she is on the little shelf. She was actually very good. She is being super chill today because of course she is, because I'm filming. So something to keep in mind if you need to move your animal when they have a full belly. I could have left her in there and cleaned her enclosure in a few days, but I just do not like them sitting in their own filth. So if I notice, which I always do because I'm a helicopter mom, I move them. Now, if I move them when they have a full belly, I just make sure that that food belly is nice and supported by my hands, because that seems to help with her comfort. Hi, sweetheart. Now, April is 9 feet long, just over 9 feet. She is my worst bite to take to date. I did get food bit and wrapped by her, I want to say a few months ago, maybe longer than that, because what is time? So I'm going to insert some of the video that I got post bite. I didn't take any when she actively bit me. I was a little distracted getting her off me, but I want to show you what it looks like and kind of talk you through getting, if you're going to get bit, then this is kind of what you might expect. So this is immediately post bite. This was from April O'Neil, the girl that I was just showing you. And this is her right after biting me. She was very much in food mode, and I'll explain how and why that bite happened in a second. But you can see her pacing, you can see her, she's very stressed because she is in food mode. It's one of the reasons I really work to avoid bites when possible. I actually wound up needing to give her a separate feeder to get her out of food mode after taking that bite. And then this is her just after I got bit and she had digested, and a week or two later, and she's totally chill. So a couple of things I want to point out in that bite that I received. One, the reason I got bit in the first place is, yes, it happens accidentally. I have gotten bitten out of complacency or just not paying attention enough to what was going on. However, the bite that I took from April was intentional because she was in her enclosure with her breeding male, and for whatever reason, I'm not sure what caused her to do this because I was not thawing feeders. There was nothing feeder related going on in any part of the snake room. And she dropped into food mode for some reason. Now, she was in there with her male, so I opened the door to see if I could work her out because I didn't want her to eat her mate. Retics aren't known for being cannibalistic, but if they are in food mode, they will not put it past them to strike a mate that's in there with them. So I wanted to get her out to ensure her partner's safety, and that is shortly after I opened the door, that is when she went after her male. So I actually put my forearm in the way to ensure that he didn't get bit. I knew I could take a bite safely without getting harmed. And her mate, who's much smaller than she is, would have met a far more intense fate. Now, something that I want you to recognize, I'm going to try and insert that video of the actual bite that I got. A couple of things to keep in mind. One, if you get bit by a reticulated python, they have a mild anticoagulant in their saliva. So you may notice if you get bit correctly, which means you are holding your arm steady, you're not pulling away, make that fist to try and protect those fingies and offer kind of that meatier part of your body. Just gives you a little bit more cushion. And you'll notice in the video that it's just little pin pricks. The only reason lacerations will happen is 99% of the times because that pullback action happens right when they bite you, and that leverage from pulling back will cause some more serious lacerations. If you just hold your ground and let them bite you, it's just pinpricks versus that lacerated tissue. The other thing that happens because of that anticoagulant in their saliva is because there's such small little pinpricks, there's not a whole lot of space for fluids to come out. I'm trying to make this YouTube friendly. I don't know how it's going to work, but you might notice that you get a little bit of swelling underneath your forearm, and that will result in some bruising. I'm gonna see if I can put some pictures up here of the bruising that I got after that. It's called a hematoma when that fluid builds up underneath your skin, and when that hematoma goes away, it causes some pretty gnarly bruising. It doesn't hurt that bad, but it looks gnarly. So that's kind of a couple of things you can expect after getting bitten in that way by a snake that is around April's size. And that's it for this week's video. Remember that I don't keep venomous animals. All of the bites that I have received have been pretty mild. So if you ever get bit and you're not sure if you should seek medical attention or not, just go seek medical attention, because it's better to be safe than sorry. But hopefully this little bit of information was helpful. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you go about taking a bite, whether it's defensive or food, from an animal in a different way. Options are always wonderful. And yeah, huge thank you to our Patreon family. Your support is just amazing. And to everyone who follows us, comments, likes, all of that stuff. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.